don't think that we'll see that in this series for Wada, but we'll see. I mean, you never know. Again, Ghost Gaming had to run through a gauntlet to get here because of Wada knocking them out so early from the upper bracket, right? So there's a lot more behind this than just these two teams. It's history, right? Like, you want to get your revenge.
Yeah, I mean, especially after that historic 13-0. Yeah, you're looking to wash that out of your mouth as quickly as possible. Bunny B's already down, which is an alarming start if you are Ghost. Definitely not how you want that to go. You see a lot of a speed up towards C. Some presence here defensively from Ghost. Not a ton, not much to speak of, but Aerial will take one for their troubles and eventually fall. Numbers the way of the attack. Wadded on from control. You're going to have a late flank coming in from Biffy. And it might be too little too late, Dre.
Yeah, Guitarist going in a little bit too early. Maybe you should have let this flank from Biffy cook a little bit. And now, I mean, with that ISO shield getting popped so early on and 4 members in sight, it kind of feels like it's impossible.
Yeah. Yep. I would agree with you completely. Yeah, I think the late flank, as you mentioned, maybe if there was a little bit more time behind that, you've got a little bit more to consider, and perhaps it gets a little bit more interesting, but the timing just wasn't great. As soon as that came into fruition, everyone was dead on the site, and so, yeah, just like that, wadded out with an early lead.
And it's so interesting, too, because if you had, like, used your vulnerable, or I didn't see what the buy of Biffy was in that last round, but you would think that it would hit onto Starbound, and then you can't get away with that TP play, right? So these are things that you need to be aware of in this type of matchup, is like trying to find where the chamber is on both sides and using that ISO vulnerable to kind of deny that teleport from coming through. So at very worst case scenario, Starbound only gets one.
We'll see if that continues to play out. Biffy, again, a large part of the conversation. The late addition and sub into this Ghost Gaming roster. And it's such a pivotal match too, Dre. I mean, a lower final, that's tough. Biffy is already down on the round. Not much of a buy, not much of a purchase for Ghost Gaming.
Yeah, Yara here left her devices, but yeah, it should be a flawless anti-eco for Wada off of just a strong start from Starbound, some supporting cast as well after the C default being used to just stop that A main push. Now Ariel is just left all alone. You don't want to use anything here. If you can do some damage, get a gun out. Best case scenario, but you're probably going to get outlawed.
You definitely don't want that. Instead, it was the judge. You know, we've talked a lot about the femboy judge, and for good reason.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that changing much tonight, Dre.
No. Especially given like some of these maps, even on Haven, right? You go to the next map, there's a lot of those close corners on A that you could use it in, or Garage. And it's similar for this map. I mean, you play the Raze, you could double satchel in with the judge, and that's just so annoying to have to deal with. You know, you have to have really good tracking, kind of pray that you hit an insta headshot, otherwise, that thing does a lot of damage to you. Yeah, you're cooked. So here comes that vulnerable that I was talking about. But you can TP past it with Luna taking an insta timing. Oh my goodness.
And this is the bonus too for Wada. If they're able to pull this off, they're already in a really nice spot to do it. You wonder here, well, we can have that conversation later. I want to get your yikes. Okay. Yeah.
It's getting silly, right? It's getting silly.
Oh, it's round 3, Dre.
I know. That's tough. That's going to be tough for Ghost Gaming. Not warmed up. Wada coming out hot off the gates as well. I mean, you know, I wanted to have this conversation with you because it's often said, you know, it's hard to beat teams twice. But I feel like the way that Wada kind of decimated Ghost with the 13-0 kind of gives you even more confidence that, okay, we could just roll over them. Like we've done it before. I feel like that's what we're seeing.
Them pretty much.
Right? I feel like that's what we're seeing. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the composition. So for Ghost, you often see the fight for A main from the defensive side, right? And it's often like a suck nade or a decay of some kind. You know, there's a little something to soften them up, and then there's damage behind it. Dre, I take a look at the composition for Ghost. They do not have that luxury. They don't have a raise nade. They don't have like salvos. You know, obviously Theo's fallen out of favor, but How do you solve for that? Because this feels like there's already some issues as far as compositional synergy.
Yeah, well, you definitely need to have somebody going towards that rubble area. I mean, it should be the Yoru either using a TP or just running straight across. Because again, remember, that ISO vulnerable makes it so nobody can use ability. So it's really just an Omen that can make it out. I don't even think the Raze, maybe a Raze satchel can make it out, but you could even try to fight from door as well. But you need to take control of that.
Yeah.
If not, I mean, this is just gonna happen to you. Like,
yep. Just like that. Biffy. What, that dink? Okay. Biffy will fall, and Miara will as well. And Wada, if I'm not mistaken, it was a flawless round the last round, no? Mm-hmm. Am I correct about that? Yeah. I feel like it might happen. It might happen back to
like
back.
every round has been flawless.
Oh, well.
Not this one.
That was nope. That was our doing. Right there, still a 4v3, still the judge in the hands of Femboy, the spike planted. And you've got a really nice position from Juna. The smoke towards heaven, and Femboy waiting on the other side. You definitely don't want to face check that smoke.
Oh. This judge is going to probably get this, though. Or multiple, we'll see.
There you go. Starbound gets 2, Femboy gets another, Wada gets a 4. And they're busted. They're broke.
Yeah, it's been extremely fast-paced right now from Wada, just basically bullying Ghost Gaming on this attack side Lotus. And yeah, you need more of a fight towards a Rebel team because you don't have that damage utility that we were talking about. But like, you do have an Omen, right? So this is good. But the problem is, Wada aren't here to fight A anymore. They understand that there's probably going to be an adaptation be made from Ghost Gaming. It's probably going to be a stack. So you just kind of keep one person here to get info, see what you see, and you just relay it to the opposite side. And now, yeah, it's just going to be a speed up on C. You saw a bunch of utility being used from the defenders. So C is probably weak. Vi is already weak itself. This is
a problem.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, the plan towards
still have
C.
Raze nade. I mean, this is tough.
Yeah, this is really difficult. You've got the wall that's out towards water. They just dogged it over there, too. You've got sensors covering water and mound to make sure that nobody's pushing up. Oh, no, that forces all of the fight towards their spawn. And you've got things like that. You've got Femboy with the Judge, Starbound with the Outlaw, turn of the Flash. Power Pixel's there to save the day. Wada not get up to 5. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, Dre, because... Yeah, at the beginning of that round, early timeout called here for Ghost. At the beginning of that round, we were talking about how it seemed like Wada were wanting to change to explore things over on C because there may have been an adaptation A, this, that, or the other. What sort of adaptations do Ghost need to be doing there? I mean, right now, I don't mean to kick them while they're down. They have 3 members who are a combined 0 and 14. Okay? So my question to you is, are there, I mean, what sort of adaptations can you make if you are going to continue to fight for A main? Can you even shore this up right now?
I mean, it's going to be tough because we haven't even seen if their adaptation will work yet, right? So I do think that they're taking a step in the right direction if they do want to fight A, but it's like you said, now we're hitting that point in the half where it's like, Wada should be aware that there's going to be some type of change. They might not know that it's going to be the Omen and Tree. Opening the door, maybe using the Paranoia to take out that fast timing of Juna. But yeah, maybe this operator, maybe this is going to be a big statement for Ghost Gaming. Maybe Bunny B can get things going here and get an initial first blood, get things into their favor, and then play a good retake, right? I still think that's a tall order. And I mean, you never know though. There isn't initiator utility here to kind of fish out Bunny B's positioning, so let's play a good opportunity off the off. Yep.
Yeah. How'd that op go?
It's not usually favored for the attacking operator to just like swing dry into an op and win that fight.
Yeah. Aerial feeling. I mean, that was very well played. Juna got some high ground. Aerial can't deal with all of the presence and all of the aggression. If he's getting spammed through smokes.
That's one of those moments as a player where like you thought you had the kill already. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You turn away because you think surely they died. Yep.
You hear all this audio, all these audio cues. You knew a Raze was lower that got hit by the trip as well. That's just unfortunate. You know, that happens to the best of us. But it was a fast round again, and that operator buy got picked off immediately. And like I was saying though, like usually the attack side op, like swinging dry into that angle, doesn't win. I just think that Ghost Gaming need to just like wake up a little bit. Maybe use this as a warm-up map. You know, it is also Wada's map pick.
Oh gosh. Yep.
Yeah. Just take every round you can as an opportunity to like kind of ease your way into it. Like it is a best of 5. Now here's the thing, Doug, and this is something that I was going to point out earlier, is that Ghost Gaming have never played a BO5 as a team yet. I mean, you pair that with the fact that now they have like a stand-in as well, it makes it even kind of worse. But
yeah, it makes it more difficult. For
BO5s
sure.
are a different animal, man. Like if you exert too much energy in like the first couple of maps, you don't have the endurance to go the entire distance, and you kind of have to think of it like as a war of attrition. You know?
What is the adjustment here? Worth noting, not that Wada were hurting for money or for kills or for map advantage, but Starbound did pick up the op that was used by Bunnyby in the previous round, so not even really having to invest that. Femboy satchels out onto the site. Biffy, no place to stand.
That was one of your only like decent buys as well. That was a Spectre, the little front B, and now essentially feel like you're completely locked out of the site. You don't really have much map control. This B flank is only saving grace. Wada are just absolutely steamrolling Ghost Gaming right now.
Yeah,
just
I mean,
completely locking them out of the site.
Yeah, and this feels. How much of this do you chalk up to macro and game calling and game plan versus Wada just playing a little bit more disrespectfully and just almost seemingly like they know they can win every single gunfight they take?
I think like maybe in the beginning you could kind of point out some flaws in the macro of Ghost Gaming, you know, not using that ISO vulnerable correctly or that A peak on pistol round. And I think once you give a team like Wada the confidence that I don't want to say you don't know how to play against their composition with your comp, but like you just didn't do it right early on. It just snowballs out of your control, especially because they've beaten you before and the fashion in which they beat you as well. Now, keep in mind, that Ascent match was very, very close. From
13-11, I believe, it
was 13-11 or 13-9 or something of the sort. But the first Bloods were completely even, 12-12. But it just seems like Ghost Gaming on these first engagements, these first maps, just haven't figured out how to do it well.
Starbound has been untouchable with the op. Yeah, Ariel gets 2 there. Biffy pulls them into the gulag and loses the fight with the shield. Astralis was able to win that 1v1 out.
Yeah.
And even through all of that, Ghosts are in a decent spot here. It's a 2v3. It's probably the most competitive one they've had so far.
And then you just get snatched up.
Yeah.
That's so impressive. This composition, once it gets snowballing, once the operator gets into the hands of Starbound, like you said, and like you don't even need to invest your own money for it as well. This is where this composition from Wada shines. You know, they play it on every single map, pretty much, like, or iterations of the same thing, right? But it's always the chamber, like the desk was talking about. And a big part of the downfall of Wada yesterday against Shopify was the fact that Shopify Rebellion did a really good job of denying the operator economy for Wada, right? Based off of, you know, winning a lot of the pistol rounds, winning the bonuses. It's a must. Like, you kind of have to play that way. You kind of have to rely on winning pistol rounds against this Wada composition to deny Starbound from getting an op online. Because once Starbound starts going, I mean, look at this, 14-0 right now. And you've just used your second timeout.
Yep. And I don't know what the conversation could look like here that would make a substantial difference. The same the scoreboard hasn't really changed on the side of Ghost. Bunny B, Biffy, and Kataris are yet to find a kill so far, and we are 8 rounds in. And I think, again, a testament to Ender mentioned it at the beginning of the broadcast, and he was right in saying that it felt like Wada were the favorites heading into this series tonight. I don't know that I expected this level of dominance, though.
Yeah, not off the gate, too, it's so impressive, but, I had questions. I was like, okay, how are Wada going to bounce back after, losing to a team like Shopify, where maybe if they played a little bit better, it could have been a little bit closer on that last map. And so far, I mean, Starbound has looked phenomenal.
Yep.
A person that got completely shut out, I feel like. Well, not completely. Still had, like, really good stats and a good first blood, first death ratio. But compared to, like, how they normally play, had a rough series. Like, how are you going to bounce back from that in, like, a day's time? This is the way to do it, And as much as I talk about, like, you need to warm up into things for Ghost Gaming and, like, just try to get a flow for the game, you can't even really, like, just randomly go for fights, even though your composition is kind of good for that, because there's an attack side off that's holding you at, like, every angle. Right? Yeah. So it's just so annoying to deal with.
And that's something that Ghosts have not been able to solve, but and the truth is they have to figure it out. For as much as this half has been a complete disaster, an 8-4 would be something worth talking about. If they can get to that point, but it kind of has to start on this round. It's just a stinger in the hands of Biffy. And that's the stinger on the ground right there. Weapon has been upgraded by Kataris, and once again, any sort of advantage that they had is instantly snuffed out. Wada are up to 9.
Nice little spray Quaza from Australis right there with the Vandal back sight. Biffy is on the scoreboard now, though. That was off of that stinger kill, but yeah, I think as an ISO player on a map like this, it's kind of tough on the mental, because, like, you know that you need to be the one that steps up. Like, it is your job as the ISO to get a lot of these first bloods. But the way that Wada are playing right now is just lights out. It really does feel like they can do no wrong. Now, Ghost Gaming have a bunch of ults that they can use to maybe get the 9-3 curse going. I mean, it's a little bit of hopium with the way that things have been going, but that is now the best case scenario. You need to formulate a plan with these ultimates to convert into some round wins. This one is not here.
Has to be here. Papacel's got to get tagged. Meanwhile, the 1v1 across the middle of the map goes the way of Biffy. Miara gets another. I believe for the first time all half, there's a numbers advantage the way it goes.
Destabilizing. Right now, you just have to play to that advantage. You have a 5v3.
Only Ariel's ult left.
Just have a double flank coming in as well.
Yeah, and maybe that could be the difference maker. I mean, they've also got water pressure and they have spawn pressure. That first sound sensor has not been cleared yet in from main, so keep a close eye on that on the minimap. Meanwhile, they're going to try to funnel in through spawn into the KHA go. Femboy having to take a step back. Miara's the first domino to fall in this attempt at a retake. Starbound claims another name. Femboy's left in a 1v1, and Bunny B clears it out. Ghosts are on the board.
It was taxing. It was labored. It was honestly looking like Wada was going to bring that back somehow, even though every single member was corralled into back site. There was 3 players stuck in just one spot. But there it is again. The lack of damage utility makes it so hard to even retake into 3 members, and you know where they all are. So
yeah,
it's difficult right now for Ghost. You had to really pull out all the stops to convert even just a single round with, but you did it. Maybe this can spring some momentum, some life into your team. You could chain a couple more together, but the buy is not that great.
No, it's not.
It's very weak.
Even after winning that round, you're right. The financial situation is bleak.
Oftentimes in matches, especially this late into a half, spots like this where Miara is playing go unchecked.
There you go.
Down A.
Now you're stuck.
Not fully cleared. Power pixel falls. Astralis knows the positioning, even with the decay. Astralis is able to get the kill. Op has been found as Astralis is playing with fire, and Astralis will not get burned. Biffy in a decent spot. The flash is good. Not good enough. Biffy gets 2. Femboys are on the trade. 2v2 now.
You walk out of heaven? No.
Yeah.
You walk out of heaven. It's off of a paranoia. I like waiting for the team play, but that timing was missed.
Yeah. And now they're going to be able to scurry their way out. Get the spike down on C. No paranoia to speak of anymore.
Yeah. There's still a camera here, though, from the defensive side, right? Ariel should be able to tap that alongside the neural theft to really paint the picture of where this post plan is going to be held from. Problem is they're making so much noise, and there's a showstopper that Femboy still has, a boom pod as well. This is not going to be easy. Off the tap of the spike, you imagine the showstopper will be popped.
There's the tap. There's the showstopper. Juna TPing forward and will fall. Femboy left in 1v1. Again, that nade's going to hurt. Kataris is very little HP. 17 left. Femboy with the shorty. A 3K for the Rays and 10 for Wada.
Just playing the utility to perfection. After the kill, you get the recharge on the nade. You still have that boom bot to kind of, you know, double dip into the smoke with. And we already know Femboy's a big fan of using those shotguns. Those spots that go unchecked, but it only nets 1 kill. And yeah, Bunny B just not expecting the re-swings from Australis, playing very confident. That's very tough for Ghost Gaming. You finally went around and the life just gets sucked out of you after a quick answer back from Wada. It was scrappy. It looked like Ghost had an advantage into that round as well, but now you're left with really no Cypher utility here. Trips don't connect on a Femboy as well.
Yeah, the site is theirs for the taking. Maybe it'll catch a late straggler trying to rotate into the site. But honestly, given how this map has gone for Wada, even that seems unlikely. You've already got the deadlock wall out towards water. 2 members from Ghost coming in through spawn, 2 coming in through water, and then the last player, Bunny B, coming in through main. Here's the thing. They have done a really good job at trying to approach these retakes from multiple angles. Ariel will get Femboy. Biffy playing close. Juna on the other side. And the Stinger will connect. That's, hey, look, it works, okay? Whatever it takes. Bunny B gets another. It's Astralis left in a 1v4, and Miara's timing could not have been better. Ghost get 2.
Yeah, off of some heroics from Biffy, landing some nice shots, getting that ultimate down, closing the gap from the player at the other end of the gulag. But 2 rounds just seems like it's just not enough. Not enough for Ghost Gaming to sit comfortable on this attack half. You're going to have to maneuver around, you know, the double sentinel utility as well. The bright side is you do have a Yoru to bait out some of these deadlock trips and stuff, but I think Wadadar is sitting pretty right now.
Yeah, I think a 10-2 half will ease most teams' concerns leading into the second half. You're right. You mentioned the double senti utility, Astralis and Starbound. Not even just their utility, brother. They're top fragging for their team as Sentinels coming off of the attacking side. Like,
it was crazy. The mechanical skill that we saw from both these players. There's no reason or no wonder why they're both sitting at 16 apiece. Starbound with that light armor, 4 headhunter buy again. Yeah, I like the default so far from Ghost, pushing off this chamber.
I was about to say, it's a good set of utility, and even that pacing is well done, right? Like,
very good.
Yeah, they invest, and they did so beautifully, right? The synergy behind the utility gets him out into mound perfectly, even having Biffy being the first to swing because of the shield, and then hunting down the chamber trip, or the chamber TP, excuse me. That was very well done.
I like this too. Aggressive post play, understanding that you need to flip the map. Most Gaming have played this pistol round to a T so far.
Well. Yep. Very, very well.
Oh, that would have been so silly.
Yes, it would have. That was silly. That makes up for the lack of silly that should have been there. Astralis on the defuse. Bunny B gets 3. PowerPixel left alone. That's now a 1v2. Miara is weak, and they are the last one standing, but PowerPixel left on the other side of the wall, an impenetrable defense. There's no way in, there's no way through. The time will expire, and Miara will just sit there and watch. That might be the silliest thing I have ever seen in Valorant.
You get walled off by your own deadlock? Yeah, 100%. What gives? You know what I mean? It's really tough. But Ghost Gaming had some really good protocols there. I like how they were planning to deal with that chamber. I mean, you explained it to a T. You know, using that vulnerable, the fade prowlers, the shield to really just, I mean, push back Starbound to not only like, you know, step 2, but step 3. There's so much behind that. And then the awareness to flip the map after your B-Lurk dies is awesome too. There was a nice cheeky little Omen flash play for anybody that was flooding water as well. Now it's going to be full A control. This is what you can do when you're running a composition like this with the ISO. You can just bully that A fight over and over, supporting Yoru flashes as well. This is where things get a little dicey. The silent stack.
Which shouldn't be an issue given that, okay, given that they didn't buy, but Kataris is able to punch back a little bit and keep things at 3s apiece. No guns to speak of for Wada. And Astralis gets to Kataris is left alone in a 1v3. That's 1 kill found Kataris, trying to alleviate some of this pressure. Juna has been spotted. Is there any idea of how close Starbound is? Not to mention, the spike is not even in tow. Right now, Kataris dropping back down. Starbound is there. It's a thrifty round win, and surely that's a dagger.
Yeah, it definitely feels like now the economy will be back in favor for Wada. Thrifty round wins are so massive in Valorant. I mean, it just completely changes the game.
Especially in a spot like this.
Yep. It stops any chance of Ghost Gaming thinking that they could come back. And this is like the danger of running into a silent stack. There's so much damage utility from Wada that it just creates chaos on the site. Even though you have gun advantage, like, you just can't deal with all that utility.
No.
Deadlock nade, the raise nade, and then you have some certain sheriffs popping off as well. It's so annoying to have to deal with.
Well, Money B already falling. That will be a problem.
Map so far from Astralis,
who was very good the last time we saw them play too. Astralis has been very steadily consistent
like
for Wada.
These great transfers and everything, just really displaying some masterful skill with that Vandal. And how many deadlock ults have we seen so far in this map? I feel like this is the 4th one already.
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. We've seen many. That is for sure.
Every single one's got value as well. Pop it here if you even want to, based off all these audio cues of Ghost Gaming.
And I don't think anybody would fault you for it, to be honest. Yeah. But they're going to rotate out Ghost, looking to explore the rest of the map. And it is Femboy across towards A with a Phantom in hand.
30 seconds left.
Phantom, nade still, Boombot. Your fade is close as well. You could even give sight. Ooh, timing almost gathered.
Arumba's going to help. If he has to take a step back. 13 seconds left. The spike node just now arriving to the site. The plant looks like it should be safe. And that's 1 found. On the fishing line as Kataris falls. Power Pixel with 2 on the round. Area left in a 1v. Nothing. Dead. Yeah. That's another round for Wada.
Another successful deadlock ult on the retake as well. Iffy had a good punish on the Femboy who stuck around way too long in heaven after getting paranoid, but you just don't have the guns, you don't have the space. And now you're sitting at, you know, potential first map loss. Well, now keep in mind this was Wada's map pick, and also Ghost Gaming have kind of struggled on Lotus historically, not really sticking to a single comp, like nothing really working for them. So I don't blame them for trying to go for, you know, this type of T1 composition with a double duelist. Sometimes you gotta like throw a Hail Mary in there. Ends up not working out for you here, but on Haven you're gonna see a very similar comp. You're gonna see the ISO again.
It's you. Wise to use the clone there. Not getting tagged by Starbound's first shot. Astralis won this last matchup. Not the case this time around. 50 wins it out. Ops still in play for Starbound. Pixel is going to get tagged by the Fatal. Spike still not out of mounds. Still not into C. And June is there to tighten the strings. This looks like it's wrapped straight. Ariel's left in 1v4 with nothing but a Spectre.
Yeah. This one wasn't really close. Already 2 steps ahead on that flank as well, understanding that the Cypher wasn't shown at all in main. I think that was one of the most dominant Lotuses we've seen in GC so far.